Namaskar. We all want security and to be in control of our lives. Society assures us that if we have enough money, that will give us security and control to do whatever we want. But all the wealth you can accumulate can disappear. One rather famous rich man in America, he bragged about how much money he had, and certain court cases have caused him to run out of money. But all the wealth you can accumulate can disappear. Your physical body, you can train your physical body to become very strong. And that's a very good thing. But a serious accident or an illness can take all your strength away. As someone said about disability, we all become disabled by the time we die. So your money and your physical strength will not give you control over your life. There's a famous joke, you've probably heard it. How do you make God laugh? The answer? Tell him your plans. Because however good our plans may be, God can change them in an instant. God changed all my plans on February 2nd, 2016. On that day, I was suddenly arrested by Interpol officers in Venezuela, where I'd been living happily and working for 9 years. What am I accused of? I asked. They said I was accused of conspiring and plotting to traffic a large shipment of weapons to India 21 years before. I had absolutely no connection with that crime, but all my efforts to explain my innocence could not convince the officers, and I was put in a jail cell. My cell phone, my laptop computer were taken away, never returned. All my plans and commitments, my writing and speaking engagements were irrevocably canceled. The cell I was put in was crowded, very crowded. It was 3 meters by 6 meters, that's 10 feet by 20 feet, with 20 men. It smelled like a locker room. When the steel bars shut behind me, I shook hands with every prisoner. A lawyer, who was also an inmate, told me that my particular case would take many months to resolve. I sat on the cement floor, made a 1-year calendar in my notebook to keep track of the time. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in a higher power that guides the universe and all of us too. That first day in the cell, I had a talk with that higher power. Okay, God, you know I'm completely innocent of this crime I'm accused of. However, I believe that behind every material cause, there's a spiritual cause for everything. You must want me to be here. Why? I really don't know. But if this is where you want me, here I am. In that cell, I also remembered about 2 very good friends of mine who live in New England, Prakash and Chittasmita. Both of them are highly respected in their communities for their service. They're considered very saintly persons. A few years before I was in jail, both of them were injured in separate automobile accidents that were not their fault. Severely injured, time stopped for them too. They were hospitalized for months to recover. They were both innocent, as was I. In my cell, we lived around the clock in that cell, day and night. About once a month, I was put in handcuffs and taken outside and driven in a van to the courthouse for a hearing. It was a lovely reprieve to look out through the barred windows of the van and see the colorful city that I knew very well, Caracas. Thousands of people, street vendors, chaotic drivers, everyone moving and behaving normally. The handcuffs on my wrists made me remember 12 million men, women, and children who were kidnapped in Africa and transported in heavy chains to the New World as slaves. All of them were innocent too. It was 9.5 months before I was finally released and put on a plane to be deported to the United States, where I was born. Looking back, trying to understand this spiritual retreat I had been on, I believe that experience taught me 3 things: humility, patience, and surrender. I learned humility because jails are designed to dehumanize prisoners, making them powerless and helpless. They're looked down on by everyone. I learned patience because days, weeks, months passed, and all I could do was my spiritual practices as well as I could in those circumstances. And I learned surrender because the one who's really in control of our lives is the Supreme Consciousness. He said in this reading that you are never helpless because that force will always give you the energy that you need to do any noble work. That is the story of my life. I have no good education, I have no good experience, but I have been given the capacity to work in a humble way for that Supreme Consciousness. And I am deeply, deeply grateful for that. And I wouldn't trade what I do for anything in the world. So you are not helpless. Namaskar.